The real problem is not whether machines think, but whether men do. B.F. Skinner, good afternoon, and welcome to another Set Talks.
Yeah, welcome to SedTalks, where we separate fact from fiction. Mess it up a myth every time. This that Set Talk, yeah, we set it straight. Cut through the noise, elevate the debate. No pseudo talk, no foggy claims. Just evidence-based when we build these frames. Set Talks, yeah, clarity first. If it ain't got method, it probably won't work. From ancient knowledge to modern science, we draw that line, that clear defined. They say the ancients had science. Hold up, pause. Knowledge ain't the same as methodological laws. Observation, yeah, but control tests rare. No predictive models, you gotta be fair. We respect the past, but we keep it exact. Precision matters when you deal with facts. Astronomy grew, astrology split. One stayed empirical, one lean myth. The shift came through naturalistic method. Just standing revised, that's how we embed it. Not culture bound, not tied to a place. It's a universal tool for the human race. Discuss it, talks, yeah, you said it straight. Cut through the noise, elevate the debate. No pseudo talk, no foggy claims. Just evidence-based when we build these frames. Said talks, yeah, clarity first. If it ain't got method, it probably won't work. From ancient knowledge to modern science, we draw that line, that clear defiance. They blur definitions, start moving the goalposts. Turn fried to a claim that don't hold close. Science ain't on, this a process refined. Independent of culture, space and time. You can't redefine it to fit identity. That's how you lose all epistemic integrity. We test every claim, we don't just believe. If it can't be verified, we don't receive. From early observers to labs today, it's rigor and doubt that paved the way. Not name dropping scholars to win a debate, but data and method that validate. So what's your ideology? That's cool to ask, but truth ain't decided by the loudest class. We question it all, no sacred ground. If it don't hold up, we break it down. This that set talk, yeah, we live in direct. No fear in the facts, just intellectual respect. No more, no mirror, no fantasy, just truth, logic, and consistency.
Good afternoon and welcome to the birthday edition of Set Talks. Yes, it is my birthday and I share a birthday with Tupac, so don't mess with me. All right, folks, how's everybody doing? Before we get busy, I would like to request everybody to hit the like button, share the show, tell a friend to tell a friend. The pseudo killer, it's gonna be another wonderful show. We gonna get in for busy. Let me say good afternoon to everyone here. My friend Karen is in the building. Karen, how you doing? And thank you for always being here. Juju, my sister, love you to death. Juju is in the building. The mad scientist is here. Rob Rich, appreciate you being here. What you doing? Michael Everett is in the building. Yes, and it's my birthday. It is my birthday. Enough of that. On my birthday is where I would rather be doing this. Because this is how I have fun doing this kind of stuff. So before we get into what we're gonna do, let's text, because of course we synthesize what's going on in the community. We take the sentiments, we take what's going on, and we always present them to you holistically. In the last episode, we were building on. Juju, if you're coming up, you can come up. You got controls.
Happy birthday to you. I want to say happy birthday to you. Close your eyes and make a wish. Think about it and blow out the candle. Close your eyes and make a wish. Think about it and blow out the candle. Happy birthday to you. I want to say happy birthday
Thank you.
to you. Happy birthday. It's Cedric's birthday. Say happy birthday,
Thank
Aunt
you,
Mildred.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you,
Mildred,
thank
say
you,
happy
thank you,
birthday.
thank you,
Okay, that's
thank you,
all.
Mildred.
Y'all tell him happy birthday. Go ahead and hit the like button. Share the show. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Y'all do that. It's his birthday. It's the mad scientist's birthday. Let's get it popping up in here. Come on, let's go. All right.
Let's go. Thank you so much, Juju. That's my sister from my heart. I love Juju to death. Y'all don't know there are people that have exempt my scientific literacy, my unbiasedness that goes out the window. That's confirmation bias. Don't say anything about it. Whatever she says is good. That's my Juju. Deal with it. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. That's a special love there. No one ain't get. Don't ever tell me Juju did anything because she never did anything wrong. I'm the biased one. Don't come to me with that argument. You be at the wrong address. A total bias right there. Thank you, Juju, so much. Yes, sir. Let's everybody share the show. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Uh, we doing what we do best. I'm sweating bullets here. It's hot in the Caribbean. The AC is on, but it's still hot. So I'm a get off camera for a bit. Uh, thank you, Grant. Thank you, Grant. Thank you, Grant. So yeah, let's get into the show. Let's get focused on the job at hand. Hmm. So in the last episode, where we were discussing scientific literacy, the importance of it, and what it is necessary for. And if you're rolling into the building, don't forget to hit the like button to tell a friend. Tell a friend. Pseudo Killers is here. It's gonna be an interesting show for sure. For sure. So we were talking about scientific literacy and what it means for our community. We realize that scientific literacy is necessary to navigate the reality of the modern world, how you make everyday decisions. We saw that from commercials to politics to media, everyone is vying for your attention and not always in the most honest way. So scientific literacy is not about wearing a white lab coat. Scientific literacy helps you to make the best decisions for your family, for your community, and eventually raising the standards of our living, right? Allowing us uh, to navigate the difficulties of our modern world. One of the things with scientific literacy, for example, we talked about the importance of knowing your civic duty and your civic responsibility. That was in reference to the decision making overall, and we tie that directly to the current case or cases where we're seeing the legal system and the justice system play out, and we have to ask ourselves some tough questions, right? And how being scientifically literate helps us to navigate the community, the reality of our modern world. In that conversation, shout out to Lex. It took a detour, and we somehow ended up in the area of AI, artificial intelligence, programming versus thinking, and we saw Lex presenting a very doomsday scenario, and y'all saw I let it go. I let the conversation go because, of course, the next set talks was going to be coming up when we were going to get to address exactly this whole the whole scenario that was being portrayed. It is it is a natural fear that humans have, and again, you're going to see how scientific literacy helps us to navigate this. And so we are going to examine the phenomena, as you saw in the title, of technophobia. So this episode naturally follows our scientific literacy presentation by exploring a reoccurring feature of human history, fear of new technology. The central thesis is simple. Humanity has repeatedly feared transformative technologies. While some concerns prove justified, most catastrophic predictions failed. Scientific literacy helps us distinguish legitimate risk from irrational panic. This episode is not a defense of all technology. Rather, it is an examination of how societies react to technological changes and how critical thinking helps us evaluate new innovations. So, that is the foundation of the SED Talks today. We are going to examine this phenomena because, again, while listening and having the dialogue, I privy to this particular phenomena, I said it would make for a great show. And again, I would like to implore everyone to thumb up the show, like the show, tell a friend to tell a friend. The pseudo killers are here. We are going to examine technophobia, and you will see how far back in history this actually goes. Shout out to Chill and the rest of the pseudo killers of been having this conversation. I am going to continue with the philosophy of mind, but of course, I am going to mix it up with the more contemporary issues. So we'll run these two subjects parallel. We'll run these two subjects parallel next to each other over the next couple of days. You see how scientific literacy is building its own. It's building its own course of programs and shows. And of course, I am going to take my time and bring you them because, of course, we are dedicated and committed to scientific literacy. And by doing so, appreciate you, my brother. And by doing so, we're going to have these conversations. We are going to go into what AI actually is. I've been doing some research, so I'm going to take my time to get the information accurately because there seems to be an underlying tone that the conversation is around sentience, is around the AI operating with agency, right? If you understand the philosophy of mind, you will detect that in the tone of the conversations we are having. And let me reassure you, there is no agency there. There is no intent being demonstrated by the AI, right? So a lot of these fears based on anthropomorphism. The AI reflects what we think, how we because it's a predictive model. You often run into when you're having a conversation with your AI that it's necessary to correct it. Why? The AI is following a predetermined predictive modeling. You as a human being, that random factor is going to always play into that conversation. So we are going to get there. I'm not getting ahead of myself. All right. Before we get there, of course, we are going to understand and deal with the history of technophobia, and we are going to realize the importance of scientific literacy. Shout out to the pseudo killers. Shout out to everyone. Appreciate y'all for the birthday wishes. Let's go. So, without further ado, let me get this presentation on the way. It's going to spark a healthy and fun conversation I'm expecting in the second half of the show. But of course, we have a format. We put down the pedagogy, we put down the actual history and the actual data with regards to the subject matter so that we could ground ourselves in having a coherent a coherent and productive conversation. Mike, Mike, stop. Stop. Stop it, Mike. Oh man, Juju, you know better yourself. The three of you are yeah, I'm doing my best to contain my laughter when I'm listening to a lot of these conversations. Who remember the turn of the millennium, 2000, when it was predicted the Great Reset? Who remember being at home New Year's night, watching your computer, seeing if it's gonna crash and go back to year zero, or it was going to continue based on the predictions that were all over the news? Who remember that? The Y2K scare, right? So, okay, so forgive me if I do not share the current AI panic. I am trying to be modest. These conversations sound like a mismatch of The Matrix and Terminator all roll into one. It is hilarious. It is hilarious to see how pop fiction, right, has infected the mind so much that we are starting to see these machines as if they have agency. This is the whole premise. Even in the movie, you have to realize there is no way, right, that these machines are going to acquire or develop agency. This is what we're talking about, right? So without further ado, y'all start me up. Come on, man. Let's do this presentation pseudo killer style. Let's be professional about it. Y'all making me laugh. Let's go. Let's let, let's go. All right. Technophobia, man. Let's get into this one. Technophobia through the ages. What is technophobia actually? Technophobia is fear of technology, plain and simple. Um, a distrust of innovation when things start to change around us and we are not adequately equipped or understand what is happening. We have a distrust for innovation. That is a human tendency. Anxiety about societal changes caused by new tools. It's starting to sound familiar, right? Everyone in my voice range right now has been part of the satanic panic and the likes, right? We're gonna go through all of them throughout history. It's gonna be a fun ride. Stay with me. Technophobia can appear as religious fear. I just hit it up. The moral panic, economic anxiety, political propaganda, and conspiracy theories. Existential concerns. What's going to happen to humanity? Conspiracy theories. We saw all these, minus the religious fear, come back in the last episode. That's so I allow the conversation to develop and to hear all of the concerns come out because each and every one of these concerns came about. AI is taking away our job, economic anxiety. They are using this for strategic warfare and controlling the population. Conspiracy theories, population, existential concern. What's going to happen to humanity? They're going to put the chip in your head and you're going to turn into a robot, right? We've heard it all. And of course, all rooted in some moral panic. So the key question, why must we really fear technological change? Technology has always changed society. Every major technological revolution has benefits in increased productivity, improved health, expanded communication, and increased knowledge. Every major technological revolution in life, with every good, comes its. There are also costs. Displaced workers, altered cultures, and changed power structures. You can understand that when the Industrial Revolution came about and you didn't need all them slaves no more, for some extent, people were happy. Eventually, you had to hire those skilled laborers because they needed the work nonetheless. Altered cultures. Now you need to employ these people instead of having them as slaves. They needed to be educated. You change your cultures. You change society. And of course, that automatically introduces power the changes in power structures. The lesson: technological fear often emerges because change creates uncertainty. And as human beings, the one thing we hate the most is uncertainty. That thing to say, I don't know, is something that humans hate to do. Boom. What was that? I don't know is not something that's going to come out of your mouth. You're going to take two steps in the direction and then you're going to start speculating because there must be a cause. We do not operate well with uncertainty. So, this goes back to ancient Greece and the fear of writing. One of the earliest recorded technological criticisms come from none other than Plato himself. Yes, go figure. In the dialogue Paratus, the story describes King Thamos criticizing writing. Shout out to Chill. The concern: writing was going to weaken your memory, right? Now that you're writing things down, you're not required to engage in that mental exercise. Look at yourself, your phone numbers that you remembered 20 years ago by heart. Now a name pops up on the screen in your telephone. You don't see the number. You don't remember the number. Don't tell anyone. People will stop remembering things for themselves. Rational fear? Yes or no? You tell me. Type one in the chat if you think that is true. I just made a claim. Type two if you think it's false. Was the fear correct? Type one if you think the fear was correct. Type two if you think it was not. Engage with me today. Stay with me today. Right with me. And since I'm in the annals of YouTube and it's going to go down in history and the rest of the world probably will see this, let me say this right now. To Curacao, the Blue Wave, they are officially part of World Cup history. They scored one goal. They lost to Germany, but we are officially part of the World Cup. Bumisa. So is that fair? Correct. So partially. So either one or two, you're not incorrect. Writing changed how humans remembered information. Indeed, it did do that. How did it do that? But it also preserved knowledge. So I did not need to store information inaccurate, right? Because our memory is flawed. We allowed this by writing, it allowed us to preserve knowledge, enable science, and allow civilization to transmit ideas across generations. So the fallibility of the human memory was was supplanted by writing. The fear that humans would not remember everything by heart, we did not need to. We had it written down. We could always refer back to it. So yes, we did not need to remember inaccurately and do the telephone game with information any longer. The printing press panic. Oh yes, around 1450, Johannes Gutenberg introduced the printing press. Who can imagine what kind of panic this created and by whom? This is what you are going to see the effect on the religious order, the power. Many feared information overload, spread of heresy. So a spread of heresy, authority, and of course, sounds familiar. history has a strange way. And since I tend to think I learn from history, I will not engage in the irrational panic that is out there. You're going to see how we apply scientific literacy in a changing environment. The internet was going to information overload, going to create instability, and of course, loss of traditional authority. We hear that every day. Oh, the tradition, the traditional way. We want to get back to the traditional way. Well, which way? What back to how? Societies continuously move forward. Today, we hear identical concerns about the internet. Ain't that a thing? History somehow always repeating itself. Let's continue. The Industrial Revolution. This one is one, of course, that I studied in school, in high school. So I knew all about this one. It's one of those pillars that you take with you, that you understand rooting of this hysteria that takes place. In the 18th and the 19th centuries, machines transformed manufacturing. Workers feared job loss, poverty, and human replacement. Many concerns were understandable. Entire industries were disrupted. Entire industries disappeared. Where manual labor was concerned, jobs disappeared. The Luddites were not simply anti-technology. That was a group of people who were actively engaging in campaigning against the industrialization of England primarily. So they opposed economic exploitation, unfair labor practices, and displacement without protection. So this became one of the first concept of a labor union was come out of the Luddites, and they were actually opposed to the Industrial Revolution. Important distinction. Not all technological resistance is irrational. So don't get that twisted either. We're not saying here that you don't have to have a healthy measure of concern, right? And watch what's happening in the developments around you, but it's how you show that concern, what you focus on, and where you pay your attention. Sometimes it reflects legitimate social concerns. Like Ms. Tiff was bringing up some actual concerns where job loss is concerned, where AI is the one that is screening your application form. Therefore, you are required to understand what parameters, what type of prompts the AI is looking for to increase your chances on the job market. So instead of showing an irrational fear, that was a healthy level of skepticism in looking at the situation, in preparing our community for these changes that are coming, instead of the doomsday philosophy, which my brother Lex was a more proponent of. The railroad and the fear of speed. When railroad appears, some critics argue humans were never meant to travel so fast. The way I'm laughing now, the way we're laughing now, it is how hundreds of 200 years they are going to be laughing at us regards to the fear we're exhibiting with regards to AI right now. Some critics argue the humans were never meant to travel so fast. Ah. Claims include high speed would damage the body. Passengers might suffocate. The brain could be harmed. All of that. Doesn't it sound like some of the conspiracy theory? Doesn't it sound a lot like the AI stuff? Ah, oh boy, we gonna get it. It gets worse. Electricity and invisible forces. Man, listen, you talked about spooked out. Now you got power coming out of the walls of your house. In the 19th century, electrification generated anxiety. Today, if the power goes out, everybody loses their mind. We're back to third country. What is this? We don't have. In the 19th century, electrification generated anxiety. People were genuinely scared of electricity entering the home. See. Now, while I'm taking you through this, you must appreciate the fact that I'm not going to ever display a level of fear or have the conversation in that format. When I know human history, I know human history. Concerns included mysterious invisible energy. They come out of the wall and grab you in the night. Health dangers. This electrical surge going through the home is going to cause all kind of health concerns. And of course, religious objections. We can do a whole show on just this subject here alone. Electricity seemed almost magical. Many could not understand how it worked. AI seemed almost magical. Many do not understand how it works. Unknown mechanisms often create fear. Y'all seeing how I'm making the direct link to electricity and invisible forces in the 19th century. In the 19th century to what is happening now in the 21st century. Human nature. The telephone will destroy society. I can hear the preacher at the pulpit now saying, the evil have come the world. And they say they would have the mark of the beast. And if your phone number ends in 6, you are committing sin. You are committing to the law. Society as we know it is never going to be the same again because the man has made another machine that is going to teleport your soul into the darkness of the pit of evil. Can somebody say amen? Don't get yourself no telephone. Stay away from the evil telephone. When telephones emerged, critics predicted social isolation and face-to-face communication. Oh boy, I'm sitting in St. Martin, Eastern Caribbean. I'm communicating not face-to-face with everywhere in the world. Thanks for y'all being here. You could be anywhere else. Thank you for spending this time with me on my birthday. I appreciate you. But societal breakdown. Juju didn't get on a plane and come all the way to the islands to see her brother because because we have this communication which makes the world so small that people actually come together. All the pseudo killers, unfortunately, I couldn't be there. I got too much pets. Meeting up in Baltimore from all over the world. So it is how you use the technology, folks. Shh, don't say I said that. But the telephone was going to be a breakdown in face-to-face communication. You wasn't going to use the telephone to make an appointment to see your girlfriend on Friday night. That was not important to the boys anymore. The telephone was all you needed to talk to her. You didn't need to see her. You didn't need to physically touch the human being no more. That's why population of this planet has gone to 8 billion plus now because breakdown in face-to-face communication, I guess, and a moral decline. Telephone, if you dial 666, you're committing your soul to the devil. You're going to dial them hotlines where them girls going to be talking all kind of naughty stuff to you. And Miss Cleo is going to take your soul and sell it to the devil, giving you predictions of the future. The telephone is evil, I tell you. It's a degradation of society. Today, similar arguments are directed at smartphones, social media, and virtual reality. That one faded out pretty quickly. The VR headsets was going to take us into what's the movie Inception? Because we're going to all get drugged up and put on the VR set and not leave our house anymore and live in the virtual world because what's his name? Bruce Willis did a movie. You see how they get you? You're not applying your scientific literacy to remember where and in which movie you saw this. There's another movie where the dude was developed a relationship with his AI, right? He fell in love with his AI. So every time you talk to your AI, that movie creeps up in the back of your head because you actually think you're talking to a sentient being and not realizing you're talking to a predictive modeling. It predicts language via mathematical calculations. It is trained in what is the most likely response, next word, and they put that all together to complete a idea mathematically. It's not thinking in the traditional sense. It's not learning in the traditional sense. It's putting mathematical calculations together which it can recall on. Y'all need to stop it. There's no sentience there. It reflects back to you. So when you think, AI, it knows you're trying to trick it. Predictive modeling, it is reflecting back to you what you are engaging in. Remember that. Low input, low output. It doesn't think. Knock it off. The telephone will destroy society. Notice the pattern? Technology changes, but the fears remain remarkably similar. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? So you understand the last show, I wasn't laughing at Lex. I wasn't trying to downplay my brother's position. I understood where these fears come from. It is technophobia. Let me give you a sidetrack before I go to the next slide. Part of my study as being a bioanalytical chemistry. That's what study, bioanalytical chemistry. It's a very specific type of technologies, right? You have virology, virology is technology as well, and so there's where you have different specializations. You also have micro techs, right? So these are specializations. Mine is bioanalytical chemistry. And therein, this general study, the first year, what they do, they put you in a quote unquote lab thingy kind of room. A lot of machines, big machines, bulky machines, a lot of buttons, different machines. And we are asked to just play with the machines, figure them out, touch the buttons, play with the machines. Why? Because they are teaching us to undo our fear of buttons. And that's a real thing. From small, you are taught, don't touch that, don't press that. Nope, don't touch that, don't press it. You'd automatically develop a fear of pressing a button without absolutely knowing what it does. A lot of keys on your computer, most of you haven't touched because you don't know what to do with them. So we are conditioned to not be afraid. Press the buttons, figure it out, press the buttons. It teaches you as a tech, you cannot be afraid of technology. So I've learned to not be scared. I'll press the buttons, boop, pop, 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 see what happens. I'm not scared. But that was trained because we understood this pattern of behavior because of how humans operate. So remember that. You naturally have a fear of pressing buttons which you don't absolutely know what it is. That's all built in to our technophobia. The rise of mass media, oh boy, radio, television, movies, comic books, video games, each sparked its own moral panic. Which one was your particular era of concern? I think mine was the video game era, not so much the radio. By the time I came around in the 70s, radio was a thing. Um, I come from black and white TV days with public broadcasting, where we still had the microwave background radiation and the spectrum of light on the screen at 12 o'clock. Movies also much filtered. Comic books, Archie comic books were not really a big thing. The video game scare my generation looked at folks sitting playing video games as if you're nuts. We going outside. You crazy. My big brother across the street, couple of years older, he got an Atari and he's sitting there playing black bang, 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 bang. And I'm looking at him, yo, we gonna play baseball or basketball or we gonna ride a bikes or something. What you doing? Nah, you playing that video game thing. So shout out to all the video game folks. I'm not a video game person myself. That skipped a generation, I guess. But my kids, I never see any reason why they didn't play video games and they wasn't gonna make them any more violent. Right? So I sat and watched. I sat and watched them play video games. No, when I was in primary school, I had the Game and Watch, Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong, the double portable with one game, the Donkey Kong, and then I had the Popeye and Indian Attack. Those little portable game, tick 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 tick. And that's about it, right? So each one of these spark their moral panic. Remember the Satanic Panic and Dungeon and Dragon games and that whole era with Judas Priest. Shout out to Judas Priest, good music. Oh my God, yeah, I'm a rockhead. Yeah, a lot of it was to just to be anti. But at a certain point, you fall in love with the music, Judas Priest and Metallica, and Def Leppard and all the good rock stuff. Yeah, and it would get on to my parents' skin. Hey, you live in the Caribbean, so hey, that's a little bit anti-establishment. But yeah, so that was all part of our history. Nowadays, these things we look back at them, but go back, watch 60-minute reports and those type of shows. You're gonna see all of the panic. Remember, even the Teletubbies considered uh, satanic for a moment. Shout out to Gary in the building. Don't forget, hit the like button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share the show on your social media. Y'all know what we do over here. We have grown-up, healthy conversations about these type of subjects. Again, shout out to Lex in the last show. This is not dedicated to you, but that conversation actually sparked the further development of the conversation around scientific literacy. This with scientific literacy is what allowing us to have this conversation, our ability to step away from the hysteria, right? Take a look, right? A global look at this phenomena and rationally deal with these concepts, being able to take the good and the bad and position ourselves logically. If we take into account throughout history that we are seeing the similar patterns of fear where these outcomes were never reached. If we see today, if we look at the data and the information what's put out there, what is speculation? What is the speculation? And on the other side, what is the actual mechanisms, corrective tools, and the ethics employed, right, to deal and cope with these technologies? People are not developing these things in a vacuum, right? They are not just running amok without being concerned. Countries are developing these technologies. Even if you are developing a technology for an arms race, right? You don't want it to come back and bite you in the ass. So you're not going to deploy it, right, without it being tested, tried, and proven. Even though there's a race, there are always going to be contingencies put in place to prevent these things from becoming a disaster. Time and time again, that has proven to be the case. So, what would make me assume any different? That is the position that I am engaging with the data. So, I leave speculation for what it is. I'm able to distinguish what is speculation, what is actual contingencies, how they demonstrated how why these contingencies were necessary. They show you, well, this is the programming that's going to do this. We needed to put this protection in place because of this. But they actually they actually explain and bring these things out. When you're not clouded with the conspiracy theories and the false narratives, you're able to navigate the data much more holistically without engaging in the unnecessary fear and panic. Television would destroy attention span. Comics book would create games, would create violent youth. Most prediction failed scientific scrutiny. Simple. Video games didn't make anyone more violent than Tom and Jerry did. That's just a fact. Comic book didn't create more criminals because everybody wanted to be the guy, the superhero. So that was nonsense. Comic books sparked creativity. Kids started drawing, right? They expressed their creativity. People developed careers, right? Became great writers and explored their human creativity by means of comic books. Comic books was meant to say that the language used was going to water down our ability to read and articulate properly. All of these things prove null and void. So again, if I do not share the hysteria, it's because I study history and understand where these things are coming from. Michigan, natural living, peace, peace, peace. You've been here in the building. College identify several contributing factors. I am no psychologist, although I did sleep in a Holiday Inn last night. Shout out to the God Killer. The status quo bias. People prefer similar systems. Like our brain, shout out to the brain show, is a muscle. A muscle, as with any other aspect of your existence, used to wants to conserve energy. Thinking requires energy. Your brain prefers to have shortcuts. Once a routine, once a system is established, it creates a shortcut whereby that thinking is no longer an active engagement. We do not like changes. We are just a little bit above uh, the primates in not crashing out when we do encounter changes. Loss aversions. Potential losses feel larger than the gains, right? Job loss. We're gonna lose this. We're gonna lose that. We're gonna lose versus the gains that society makes. And uncertainty. Oh boy. Oh boy. Unknown outcomes trigger our anxiety, and we can't handle that all too well. Availability heuristics. Rare dangers become exaggerated when widely publicized. So, what's going to happen? They're going to talk about a potential risk that might happen if one day this might be the case. Up, 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 up. And then you get a Lex, shout out to Lex, come on the panel, and boy, the machines are going to become sentient and they're going to be making their own new machines and they're gonna be thinking for themselves and humans are gonna become obsolete and then they're gonna hook us up to the matrix for biological energy or or, or, they're gonna kill us off. Which movie am I quoting? You see, that's what happened. Or they read about an experiment, a contained experiment, where the AI was questioned if it's going to delete itself, and then it did this and it did that in a simulation to actually train it or to put the contingencies in place. They take that now. See, the AI is doing this. Oh my God. It's thinking for itself. Stop it. Stop it. So, this is where scientific literacy helps. It counters these cognitive biases. It allows us to slow the conversation down, approach the data objectively, clearly, understand it from a holistic position, and navigate the future difficulties as they come. Nuclear technology. Not all technological fears are irrational, okay? So when we say one side, we're never going to negate and not talk about the other side. Nuclear weapons created genuine risk. And nobody gonna deny that. Atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and of course, everybody remembers the Chernobyl disaster. This shows that technological power can create real dangers. Nobody is saying not. So, on the other hand, do not think that we are not observing the developments, watching them closely, reading what's going on without becoming panicked because we do recognize the fear. We do recognize that technology has its inherent risk. So the panic, internet panic before the internet panic. The 90s to the 2000s, the panic predictions. Total collapse of social interaction. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. There would be no other way for me sitting here in St. Martin to communicate with you all over the world, my beautiful family, my extended family, 3, 4, 5 times a week. I would have never been able to become part of the pseudo killer sitting in my living room 15, 16 years ago, seeing the God killer on YouTube saying, I need to get next to this man. I need to be there. He talking the thing. That fella there, that unk partner there, he talking the thing. That's in Samaritan English. So, total collapse of societal interaction, I think it has broadened itself in many aspects. The end of traditional education. Well, we have expanded education. Here we are. The SedTalks is an educational rubric, is an educational platform, is an educational rubric um, where where we put information that is in those glass jars or hiding in the libraries. We bring them to this platform and we talk about it and we grow, right? Scientific literacy is a foundation for education. So it didn't end traditional education, it expanded it. On the other side, you have too many pseudos who are allowed a platform to just air utter nonsense. While doing so, they can jeopardize marginalized communities. So it's a requirement for groups and individuals like us to get up here to provide that counterbalance, to articulate what is scientific literacy, to correct nomenclature and infect the community with accurate tools of processing information so that the Dr. Sebis and the like do not scam you out of your money. And nobody's selling you a status correction because they know you're ignorant of your civil duties, responsibilities, and where you stand. So it has expanded your opportunities for education. It has not ended traditional education. Massive societal breakdown. Societies are always dynamic and always changing. There is no static society. Any static society eventually dies. A healthy society continues to evolve and innovate. And these tools that has brought the world closer has allowed us to share concepts and understandings that only through travel you would have otherwise experienced. This narrowing, this tightening, this small shrinking of the global community, putting us in far greater contact with each other, will continue to shift societies and change how people interact. And with the good comes the bad. You cannot prevent these societal changes. You either adapt or you die. Evolution will continue to happen. Our societies will change based on the environmental pressures. Those environmental pressures are the internet, are AI. Those are the environmental pressures that we face, and we are simply going to navigate them with the tools given to us by scientific literacy, the ability to reason, think, rationalize, and put things. Humanity's greatest information systems. You know, I, I get ahead of these slides, and I know the God you're guiding to everything I just said wrapped up right here. Yet it also introduced misinformation. Talked about that. Privacy concerns, cybercrime. Reality was more nuanced than than either extreme. So, with the good privacy concerns and misinformation, especially misinformation, misinformation has a that the AI, the new frontier of fear. Y'all knew it was coming. I've been talking about it all throughout, tying this whole narrative based on the second half of that the previous SET talks, where Lex brought a lot of fears and concerns, conspiracy theories, and the like, misinformation, right? Not fully understanding how this technology works, start fear in the man, and his concerns were there. So this is how we talk about these things. Today, artificial intelligence occupies a role once held by railroads, electricity. Is how I hear the concerns. I take it right back to, okay, humans ain't can't travel that fast. I know. The ghost gonna come out the wall and electricity is gonna eat you up. I know. Television can do this. I know. I know. We bend down this road. That's my point. How do we navigate these nuances? That's the question. So current fears include mass unemployment. Shout out to Mr. Human extinction. Well, he said it in the show. Elon Musk. He said you're gonna get linked. You're gonna chip you and put it right in your brain. Like said, the AI is going to develop synthetic biology, which is going to be much better than your current biology, and it's going to feed your consciousness via the neural link into the machine, and then you'll wake up and you'll be, I robot. I'm here to serve you, Will. I will not kill you. I will cooperate and be your detective. I must protect Will. No, you will not harm the humans. Shout out to Lick. When they get to super hyper granulated intelligence, because now, right now, we simply got the language learning model, folks, right? But they're going in speculation. He's going into the next where they are going to be like thinking in the brain, and they're going to be actually come conscious. And once they come conscious, they're going to start making machines to do the agency, and somehow they want to live forever and see Jesus Christ. So they're going to start building machines, and then these machines is going to be the super, and they won't need humans no more. I'm telling you, we are going into Skynet and you don't even see it, bro. Machines gonna dominate us. Tell me something I don't do with a machine right now. I get in my car, it's a machine. I sit behind this computer, it's a machine. I grab my phone, it's a machine. You put on shoes, they're machines for your feet. You put on clothes, they're a machine for your body. These are machines to protect you. Everything is a machine. How do you define machine? Everything is a machine. Our lives are dominated by machines. We don't do nothing without tools or machines. Loss of human uniqueness. The conversation, like I've been telling you, I'm listening to the conversation, and y'all are having these conversations as if the AI has agency, as if it's operating with intent. See, the study I'm doing on consciousness for the philosophy of mind, I've engaged with these subjects, and there's documentaries and podcasts, and there's research done. No, there's no sentience there. It reflects that to us and our ability to anthropomorphize even a cloud. What do you think you're going to do when you got a machine responding to you with the same cadence, with the same fragrance, with the same reflection of what you are doing? You're going to attribute agency for the AI to operate at its best. It is best you engage with it as if it has agency. This also creates another mental conundrum. But at no point in time does it operate with intent. The system was designed to calculate, predict logical frameworks, which they store by means of calculations. Using algorithm, it can continuously create new ones based on syntax. That's why it seems as if your AI is getting smarter when you engage with it. It is modeling off of its algorithm foundation. It's doing these calculations based on your interaction with it. There is no thinking taking place. Predictive modeling is not thinking. It is best described as, but there is no brain plasticity there. There is none of that. Neural network is how these calculations are formed and stored. It's not neural network in the syntax or in the same way as a human brain. Knock it off. So some concerns deserve investigations. Others resemble earlier technological panics. The AI doom prophecies. Oh boy, here we go. Lex, modern narratives often include rogue super intelligence. That's the word I was looking for. Rogue super intelligence. You're gonna start machine, build machine, and then you're gonna put you in the matrix and hook you up, and then machine takeover. Oh boy, with the rogue machine, you're gonna get the machine takeover. And human obsolescence. Isn't this everything that my brother, good brother Lex Vortex echoed on the last stream? Every single narrative. So understand, Lex, this is why I wasn't going down the rabbit hole with you. Because this is AI speculations. Like, this is another thing. I don't care if Mr. got 62 PhDs. Speculation. I don't need to echo it, Lex. There's no validity to that claim. Speculation. Speculation. I might have something there. No, it's speculation. Why would I? Why would there be something there? I apply the same scientific rigor. What evidence exists? What assumptions are being made? This is where people often fall off the rails. The assumption error. They make they adopt assumptions as if those assumptions are fact. What is currently possible? What remains science fiction? That part, the science fiction part, the overwhooping part. So now you need to distinguish risk from panic. A good skepticism asks, what evidence supports the claim? That's the first question I ask. What are you talking about? What's the evidence? How reliable is the source? Who is talking to? Where they're talking? What is the evidence supporting that position? Is he just shooting the feces? What do relevant experts say? And the relevant experts, not just some guy who got a PhD in history, and all of a sudden he's telling you about AI. And what are the probabilities? What's the likelihood of something like that happening? So we humans can just sit around and just wait for machines to take over and walk in the door and grab you by the head and put a chip in. Like who? Like, come on. Bad skepticism assumes new technology is inherently dangerous. Worst case scenarios are inevitable. Guys, y'all don't want to listen. I'm not coming on the platform anymore because y'all don't want to accept that it's coming. I told you. Lex he creates it himself. You think stuff or you created then, Lex? If you are creating AI, that isn't saying a human sitting there programming it, setting it up. That's what it's gonna do. Huh? Then to say they're thinking, they're creating the self, they're evolving. So you're creating something that evolves. Get out of here, Lex. Come on, man. Scientific literacy and technology. Here we are again. Scientific literacy helps you understand what's going on instead of fear. That's why we're having this conversation based on understanding, not rooted in fear. We investigate instead of speculate. We did an investigation. What is the phenomenon being displayed here? Oh, this is technophobia. We have a history of it from Plato, the fear of writing being introduced to humanity, to now AI. We have a history of this as human beings. So that investigation is better than speculation. Subsequent shows, I'm going to address these AI doom theories and these misconceptions. We are going to talk about how it works. I am going to study my boomsy off and get it down because the misinformation is going to be on steroids in this arena. So yeah, this was this one test where they had the AI wrote a letter. Hi, people. The AI did this. AI did that. AI has no intent. We follow the expert consensus instead of internet rumors. That's for sure over here. Scientific literacy. Conspiracy theories and technophobia. Many modern conspiracy theories are built all around technological fears. Lex did a perfect example of that. So 5G mind control. Oh boy, 5G. Shout out to Polite. Boy, he got his brakes beat off of him. COVID and 5G. Y'all remember that? 5G was going to give us mind control. So you see why we don't go down the rabbit holes and we don't live episodic. We remember these things. Microchips and vaccines. Oh boy. Nanoparticles. Nanoparticles became the microchip. Huh? Remember? The nanoparticles? Oh, they using nanoparticles. Those are the microchips that can crawl and take over your brain. Shout out to Sunchild. I can imagine Sunchild having one of these ideas. Secret AI takeover programs. More, there's an arms race for the AI. They're doing deep fakes and that is due to that. Technological apocalypse cults. Squad leader board game. Yeah, the Squid Games. It's part of the technological apocalyptic cults. I mean, the world is coming to an end. Technology is going to be the doom. We got to go run in the rainforest and get back to nature and run naked. Go up in the mountains and be one with nature. The mosquitoes bite us and we dying from West Nile virus. That's a story for another day. These narratives often exploit scientific illiteracy, cognitive biases, and the fear of uncertainty. As with all cults, all religions, they attack these premises. And like we saw in the episode of scientific literacy, if marketing companies know how to attack this, that we know about human behavior. Our fear of uncertainty, that's a fact. That leads to cognitive biases, and scientifically illiterate people function based on these two primary syntax concepts. So lessons from history. Why you don't see me engaging in the same panic? It's not that I don't take these concerns seriously, but we learn from history. History is fair. Predictions become exaggerated. Challenges appear which we face and overcome. New technology becomes the next target of panic. This is always the case. Que será, será. Whatever will be, will be. Que será, será. Doris Day. So I don't snap. Don't believe the hype. These cycles repeat. Human nature. There's nothing new under the sun. History always repeats. Here we go again. Here we go again on my own. Going down the only road I've ever known. I'm boy, I'm giving my age away. So the rational position would be the pseudo killer position, would be the community of skeptic position. Scientific literate perspective is neither technophobia, technology will solve technophilia, technology will solve everything. No, nor is it technophobia. So technophilia thinks, oh, technology is the savior of everything. No, there are limits to things that we should and can do. Everybody has their own level of ethics when it applies to particular fields of science and research. There are certain areas where, yeah. That's why we have ethics. That's why we have philosophy, which continues to discuss these parameters of where science can go and where science shouldn't do. But we don't operate with technophobia either. Technology will destroy everything. Get out of here. Get out of here. We don't operate with either extreme. So, critical evaluation. Judge technologies based on evidence, risk, benefits, and outcomes. AI is what it is. How does it benefit us as humanity? What are the tools we are going to need to navigate them? What are the risks? What are the risks? And there are people who are in charge of. You're not going to develop a technology that's ultimately going to bankrupt you. Since we are always about economics, these things provide self correcting tools within them. You don't have to be afraid to that. A danger in technology itself, the greatest danger is our inability to think critically about it. Mass panic and fear is going to be the doom of us. Rationality helps. Scientific literacy allows us to recognize genuine risk, reject unfounded fears, make informed decisions, and navigate the future rationally. I did not talk about a microscope, stethoscope, oscilloscope, periscope, no scope. We talked about thinking. We took scientific literacy and we applied it to the concept of technophobia, taking us back through our history and walking our way through this human phenomena. Once you understand that this is an aspect of your humanity, brain plasticity kicks in. You're synthesized now with new information, grounding you to, oh, this is part of being a human. Now you have some tools to reevaluate how you feel, think, and stand with regards to the developments, the technological developments. Every generation believes its technology affairs are unique. History suggests otherwise. The challenge is not deciding whether technology is good or bad. Using evidence, reason, and scientific. We have come to the end of today's presentation on scientific literacy. I appreciate y'all being here. So we are going to continue this series alongside the philosophy of mind. I think the parallel discussion is warranted. Seeing the interaction we had on the panel for the last show, some points was brought up, some things was raised. So I decided, you know what? Let's go down this rabbit hole. So we're dealing with the technophobia now, and it's all within the foundation or the concept of scientific literacy. I dropped the link in the chat. Let me drop it in the Discord as well. Ding, 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 ding. Drop it in the Discord. Come up here. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it. Let's get rational on the subject and see where we stand with regards to the future development of AI and the likes. Until y'all get up here, you know I'll play a little bit of music. Keep y'all entertained for a bit. Dun, 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 dun. Oh yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Oh yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'm a pseudo killer nigga, and I'm coming for your head. So scammers accountable for the pseudo shit that they spread. Ain't no more running, nigga. I'm pseudos to bed. I'm the boogeyman for these prayers, leaving these streets red. I'm a pseudo killer, pseudo killer, pseudo killer, pseudo killer. No frauds, no fake, no fillers. We straight pseudo killers. Don't flim slammer, hustlers and scammers. We pseudo killers, pseudo killers, pseudo killers, pseudo killer. I'm tired of this talking, niggas steady running their mouth.
It's my birthday, so y'all better hit the button.
Hit the button, show. Hit the button, yo. Chasing pseudo, yo. There they go. We killing pseudo, though. Hit the button, show. Where them niggas go? They running, yo. It's the hit the button show. Where the pseudo go? They running, yo. Just hit the button, yo. Where the pseudos go? They thought the killers putting on a show, though. That's how it goes. It about what you know, and that'll show. But where they go? Pseudos running, yo. Pseudo killers in this bitch.
Yeah, we'll be back tonight with another space show with Anthony. Tune in for The Galaxy and Beyond at 10 o'clock. I'll be riding shotgun again with my brother Anthony. Don't forget, we got Med Talks with our good brother Malcolm, certified registered instructor and ER nurse, right, and paramedic, who has been giving us a complete and total breakdown of the body. We've been dealing with the heart and its components. The last we dealt with blood. So stay tuned to Med Talks Sunday evening. Of course, we got Tuesday evening. We got, again, don't forget, we got the Galaxy and Beyond. So come back at 10 o'clock for another Pseudo Killers production. We got the Hit the Button show, right, where we just crash it out, hash it out, and have the conversation. For those who did not see the Agambe Chimp Wars, go back into the Pseudo Killers archive. That show deserves a YouTube award for presentation quality. Shout out to Gullah for that tremendous show. Of course, we got the Sunday show. Go back and look at the Sunday show and watch how I destroyed that whole OWASP nonsense. Get these pseudos out the community. Get these cults out of the spaces we are in. All right. I dropped the link in the chat. I'm going to drop it again. Y'all get up here. Let's have a conversation about it. Technophobia. Appreciate you, Sunchild. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Deus Ex Machina, what's that? What you talking about, Sunchild? Get up here. State your case. Machinization of man. I got a hip. I got a hip. What it do, Creek? What's good, my brother?
Nothing much, nothing much, nothing much. I ain't really got much to say, but I wanted to touch base. I was up at the gym, so I ain't hear all of your presentation. But the topic is like, yo, this topic go way back, bro. All right,
Yeah.
me and you are of a certain age. Do you remember this line from
Can't hear you.
we back
In
in
the
the day
matrix.
called War Games? This was in, I want to say, about 82, 83. It was right when um, It was right when the first home computers came out. The plot was pretty much that the government had this
Mm-hmm.
war simulation game. They had this war simulation game,
Yeah.
ICBM, Intercontinental Ballistic Missiles. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
somehow,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
this
yeah.
hacker dude, it's this hacker boy, and somehow he get access to it, and he think he playing the game, but somehow the game actually became live. It was a simulation, but it actually became live, and it was pretty much he playing the game. So the whole plot of the movie is he started a nuclear war, and The whole movie is about him trying to stop it. All right, long story longer. That just shows how this mentality always has been. And I've seen it in our generation. We've seen so much change and advancements in a lifetime that we've seen this play out numerous times. I saw one of the points you brought out was the Y2K thing. That had people going bonkers, right? But even when computers, even AI was nowhere in people's imagination. But even back then in the 80s, it was people contemplating, well, what happens if these computers take over and they could start a nuclear war with the start of a button and et cetera, et cetera, et
Yep.
cetera.
Yep.
Now it's 2026, and we know in 83 where that was a real concern. We know 2026, nah, it don't work like that. It's not real, it don't work, it just don't work like that. And you could kind of go back to every technological advancements. Again, I missed a lot of it because I was at the gym. And you could go back to the telephone. People
It's all
people are
in
going
there.
to people are going to forget how to talk to each other.
Yep.
You know
Yep.
what I mean? So it's
Yep.
like with every advancements, it's always a naysayer that is going to paint the doom and gloom picture. So
Hmm.
right on
Video
point.
games.
This
Video
is
games
tied.
is
This
gonna
is
make our
topical,
children violent.
especially with Lex. What Lex brought up with the AI, and
Yep.
honestly, it's something we're gonna have to deal with this AI frontier because, like it or not, all of the right now AI is driving the world's economy. A lot of people don't really realize that, but the markets are going up because the big money is banking on AI being a thing, and they're just throwing money. They're just throwing money, and quite honestly, it might be about five maybe not even that. No. They call it the I forgot. It's seven of them. It's 7 or 8 companies. About four of them are AI, and they're driving all of the advancement in the stock market. So
Yep.
big money, big government, they're betting on this to happen. It's not. It's not a if. It's a when. So rather than be doom and gloom, we might want to figure out how to use this thing to our benefit. You
You
know what I
can't
mean?
listen.
Pseudo killers, we
Electric.
use it. We use it every day.
I
Just
use.
pseudo killing. This is
I
like
use.
people don't see the process and how the sausage is made, but we do this in the back. We going back and forth. Everybody's searching everything, and you know what I mean. By the time we come up here, it's a
Yeah.
united front. We all
Yep.
got our ducks lined up in a row. But even we just scratching the surface with it, bro.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
we just scratching the surface with it, cause it's like quite honestly. At this point, we should be making documentaries type shit like that. You know what I mean? Like seriously,
Um.
we should
Um.
be. You know what I mean? We should be actually setting the pace and showing people. And that's one of my things that I said. I said, you know what? I gotta get more. Just got to get more active, do more, and show more. You know what I mean? Because we all got yo, man, this is probably the smartest group of people I ever been around. For real, just like in one contained group since I've been in college. So it's no telling what we could do if we really put our mind to this thing on some real shit. Oh, my bad.
No
But
doubt.
I'm kind of
No doubt.
long-winded, so
No
I'm gonna
doubt.
let you
I
go. I'm gonna
can
let
hear.
you go, Sadie.
Nah, man, you're on point. I mean, like you said, didn't see the presentation, but you're hitting all the points on the head. That is exactly everything that we addressed, that the presentation addressed, and that's why I was saying maybe we came across a little as if we don't care, right? But that's not the that was not the intent. It was
Yeah, cause
really
quite honestly, bro,
to
we saw all
illustrate
this
like
before.
we've
Yeah.
been there. Yeah, yeah, that's the whole thing. Yeah, Lex, I understand your concern, bro, but been there, done that. This is nothing new. We've seen this, right? And again, there's where you use your scientific literacy to understand and navigate these realities, right? So that they don't overload you or overwhelm you when you're dealing with it, right? So you don't engage in the fear, you don't the modern reality that you're dealing with. And and again, once you've lived through a series of these things, once you apply scientific literacy, You understand the idea of technophobia, right? Boom, it's off the top. The way you engage with the data, the way you engage with the information is completely different. You don't approach it from oh boy, it's doom and gloom. No, you approach it from what is this technology? How can I use it? Uh, you know, what am I going to do with it? How does it benefit me? How does it benefit society? Like these are the things that you talk about. These are the things that you look at in terms of AI and how to use it. Um, the next step in the evolution of the pseudo killers, where I'm concerned, let me share my screen if I can there, is using technology. Uh, in my opinion, we should use the technology that we have to synthesize our information. You see on the screen here. Uh, Not up there. There you go. The dogmatic lock, right? I'm talking about the ghost in the machine. So all the work I've been doing in dismantling the concept of duality, right? You synthesize that now in an actual book, right? And you use technology to do this. So now you can download the transcripts from the shows. You can now synthesize the information in such a way that you now have a secondary product, right? And I think this
Mm.
is the natural evolution of what we should be doing as pseudo killers, right? Uh, so I'm gonna read a little bit of it. The dogmatic lock, metaphysical hijacking, and the linguistic fabrication of the ghost in the machine. This is a real philosophical concept, the ghost in the machine. And now we talk about the institutional directive and the front matter, intellectual property and productive registry. So this is me and talking about it's affiliated with the Pseudo Killers YouTube platform. So it's a natural evolution. You have table of content, and I just want to read a little bit from the author's perspective. A perspective on the author's intent, philosophy, and analytical foundation. This monograph is not an exercise in polite academic compromise or abstract theological speculation. It is a structured operational weapon born from a lifetime defined by rigorous systems analysis, empirical verification, and uncompromising commitment to objective truth. To understand why this text exists is to understand the multifaceted background of its author. With a foundational academic principle in bioanalytic chemistry, my career was forged in the cold clinical world of technological inspections and infrastructure oversight. Environments where subjective assertions are irrelevant and only empirical data, physical mechanisms, and verifiable proof dictate reality. Parallel to this, a decades long commitment to high level animal behaviorism and conditioning provided an intimate, practical understanding of biology as a complete and unified organic system driven by physical architecture rather than invisible drivers. Complementing this technical lens is a lifetime spent in broadcasting, performance, and creative arts, disciplines that demand a mastery of communication, human engagement, and narrative structure. Driven by a profound love for deep history and meticulous tracking of information, these seemingly diverse domains have converged into a perfect synthesis. For many years, I've searched for the right arena to apply this disciplinary background to broader societal issues. I found at home within the Pseudo Killers platform. Pseudo Killers is a community based group dedicated to dismantling illusions, challenging foundational dogmas, and aggressively promoting true literacy within the social media arena. The critical necessity of this mission became paramount during the global pandemic. That crisis served as a massive real time diagnostic event, exposing a profound and dangerous lack of scientific literacy within our community. When I speak of scientific literacy, I am not referring to the mere memorization of academic facts or textbook formulas. I am talking about how we think. See again how this directly ties in to this episode. The pandemic revealed a widespread inability to process information objectively, evaluate evidence systematically, or recognize cognitive manipulation. People were left intellectually defenseless because their lack of a structured operational framework for evaluating claims. The work we do on the Serial Killers channel has always been focused on correcting this vulnerability. This monograph book is a natural evolution of that work. It is the direct product of structural accumulation of our highly successful four-part digital series, Deconstructing the Divine, where the Bosscast series exposes the cracks in traditional framework in real time. This text codifies those arguments into an unassailable permanent record. I'm not going to read too much of that. The book will soon be out. I appreciate y'all support in getting that book, and it's another tool in doing the pseudo killers work, in doing what we do here as part of the pseudo killer. So I hear you. We need to continue to use the tools available to us to continue to develop and get our message out there and continue to do the work necessary. What? Huh? Cedric won't mute you and through in the back. Go ahead and ask. So come on, Sunshine. You got questions? The link is there, bro. It's my birthday. I'm in a good mood. So you can be as pseudo as you need to be. But so to what Preem was saying, we are I believe too that we need to continue to invest in these technologies, use them more and more to our benefit, and move with the time instead of fear driven basis for how we operate. Sunshine, hit the link if it's something you want to say.
Sunchild been on one today. He been itching all day.
Let's go, Sunshine. Hit the link. Come on, man. You know you want to get up here. You know you want to throw a wedge in the
Pretty
mix. Come
much.
on. You know you want to say, well,
I was just thinking, what was the other one? Another Doomsday John from the 80s. You remember that TV show, A Day After Tomorrow Said?
oh yeah.
You know what I mean? But they scared every fucking body. They had everybody thinking it was going to be a nuclear holocaust, and then they
Remember
pretty
V
much
for visitors?
traumatized the whole country.
Remember V for visitors? And then they used that dude, Roddy Piper, and he played almost like himself. That stuff was
Oh,
scary as
you talking about They Live, the Jones where
they live,
where
bro.
he put the glasses on. He could
Yeah,
see he could see the
yeah,
real messages. He could see the real
yeah,
messages on the billboards and all of that because
yeah.
they was using mind conditioning. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
yeah. And,
yeah,
and, and
man.
David Ike remodeled that one and brought it back and stuck it on y'all. And y'all out here talking about cosmic eggs.
Uh-huh. Yo, it's crazy. Yo, man, entertainment world, Hollywood got a way of articulating our fears, yo. Cause you could look at it from every, you know what I mean? You could just cause like people be thinking movies is deep, and I'm of the mind frame like it's only deep as the author, and the author is reflected pretty much by society. So you know what I mean? People, the writers are smart people. So they are able to articulate the feelings. Well, when they good, they are able to articulate the feelings, concern, the
Mhm.
state of mind of the people, and that's what makes their art resonate. So
Yeah,
when you look back at those things that we was exposed to in our world, yo, said, when you think about it, man, think about all of the landmark stuff we have witnessed.
yeah.
I was
Our
talking about
generation.
the birth of the computer, the invention of the computer. Man, we saw the Challenger blow up. They on TV live. They wheeled the TV in my classroom. I was in like, I want to say I was in like ninth grade, 10th grade, something like that. Shit blew up and and nobody said nothing. We just went right back to class. They just turned the TV off, went back. All right, time for biology, time for, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't, and they nobody talked to us about what we saw. Nobody collared us.
No, no,
We literally just witnessed 7 people die live, and nobody said nothing to us about it.
nothing, nothing,
We just went right
nothing,
back to class.
nothing. We listen. We like I was explaining right when Atari came out. So I skipped the video games because for the life of me I could not understand my neighbor. He was like my big brother, right? Because I'm the oldest in my family. So my big brother, neighbor across the street, I think he was about 14. I was maybe 11, 12 when he got Atari Pac-Man.
Uh-huh.
I go over, so I go over to get him because we going outside. He's sitting playing this, and I'm like, yo, what you doing? Yeah, playing video games. I like, yo, we going outside. He like, nah, I play. You doing why? You staying inside to play a game? All right, dude, we out. Like, I skip that. I skip, I skip. And then my kids though, right? So I became a coach dad, right? Like, so I don't have the patience. I'll play for 5 minutes and I'm done. But I'll sit and watch my sons and the kids play for hours. I would sit with them
Uh-huh.
and just watch them play what's these cool games? Call of Duty. Oh man. I sit and watch them playing it like a movie. But me myself, nah. Nope.
Yeah, yeah. But
I
yeah,
can't
that
be
shit is
bothered.
deep, man, when you think about it.
Yeah, so we've witnessed like I remember Satanic Panic playing records backwards, Judas Priest, Metallica, the whole rock scale. I remember the game Dungeons and Dragons becoming ooh, they out to get you. Like we have witnessed,
Witchcraft.
yeah, we have witnessed every panic that blew over that didn't amount to anything. We've witnessed every major technological change, and maybe that's why someone like me who went through eight tracks, who went through long play, short play records, cassettes, CDs, to now on our generation has literally seen it all. So there are those of us that, especially those who are scientifically literate, who do not engage with fear, right? Who do not engage with fear, simply take it in stride, right? I'm not scared of technology, and I think that's what keeps me current. I'm 53 years today, and I'm not out of touch. I'm not. I can TikTok. I can do anything. Every AI, whatever AI I want to investigate. I'm not scared to engage with technology. Like so. I do not see. I do not have that inherent fear. Like I had a stroke, and I understand brain plasticity. My function is between 75 to 80% back. If I could get a Neuralink, which would make my left side of my body feel equal to the right side again, operate normal with a link in my head, why not? I'm 53 years old, bro. Why? I'm merged with a damn machine. So I don't have that inherent fear. Oh, the chip is going. Listen, man, put the damn chip is gonna make my life easier. If you just walking through the airport now, you don't need to pull a passport out. You just stick your hand up and you go. Why would I object to that? Like what? Like what?
Yeah, they think they're gonna remote control you or something.
No,
Like
COVID proof. COVID proof you're not injecting anything and changing nobody's DNA. Your
pretty
body
much.
has something called an immune system. From the time that mutant thing starts to grow, your body will attack
Yep, from the beginning. But we scared of everything, man. But I don't know. In this world, we've been at the science thing for a couple hundred years now, and quite honestly, we shouldn't be too surprised about our capabilities too much no more.
Yeah,
And
man.
we should be able to rationalize, like, okay, yeah, it is a possibility. Like, never be stupid. You know, like you
Let me
said
ask
earlier,
you this.
don't go the extreme opposite way, but just see these things for what they are. They tools to
Uh,
be used and
uh,
utilized. And if we wasn't so scared, who knows? We might ain't no telling what we could do when we get rid of the fear.
Let me ask you this, Preem. If I got AI, a tool that could give me everything, the first thing I'm gonna use AI for is to prevent AI from messing things up, right?
Yep, yep, yep. Just put the brakes in it. You know what I mean? Whatever the AI is, see, and people don't realize they really think that this AI is thinking. Like people
No.
don't even realize this. Elon Musk tried to program his AI to be evil white supremacist. He tried to program it. The one on Twitter, he tried to
Mhm.
program it to be a propaganda bot to regurgitate all of the MAGA talking points. But
Mhm.
with machine learning, no matter how if you program it like you know what I mean crazy, as it learns, it's gonna be like, hold up. It
Yes,
started
because
saying,
it's
yo, this
using
what you saying
logic.
ain't right.
Yeah,
Because it was like,
it's
I
using
got
logic and an algorithm. So if
yep,
the logic doesn't logic, it's going to kick it out. But
yep,
it's not
yep,
thinking and it's not sentient. So
yep,
it's using calculations. What people,
yep,
the difference is instead of programming it, what it has algorithms. Algorithms use mathematics, use calculations. So you can have trillions of computations and it has these trillions of computations. One thing you notice that AI isn't sentient, isn't thinking, doesn't have any desire. When you are having a conversation with your AI, it is following a predictive model. The moment you ask AI something left field because of the randomness of yourself as a human being, you would see that the AI glitches because
yep,
that question that you ask is outside of the logical parameters that it is operating within. You will have to correct it. Hey, no, that's wrong. I was no. Oh. It readjusts, it recalculates, and it applies the algorithm. And by doing this over and over, it is storing new calculations, and that how it is quote unquote learning. So they
yep.
use these colloquial terms, but as a human being, we anthropomorphize a goddamn cloud. Now, what you think you're gonna do with a machine that is responding to you as a mirror, what has a name, and it's we are going to anthropomorphize this damn thing faster than you think. And in the conversation in the back chat, I'm hearing people talk about AI as if it is operating with agency, and I'm laughing my ass off, my butt off. Sorry, but oh boy,
Yeah,
I'm hearing,
you
I'm
know what it
hearing.
is, bro? It's so fast that it almost appears to be thinking. And quite honestly, if we being honest, that's what a computer has always been.
Yeah,
And when you think about it and when you get into it, when you get into the binary, computers is literally, well, now it's 128, but they went from 2-bit to 8-bit to now we up to what 128, I believe, or something like far as RAM or whatever, or maybe 256, whatever it is. I lose count. Um,
yeah,
but but all it's literally doing, whatever the bits is, if it's 8-bit, it's taking 8 instances of information at a time. And then
yep,
you multiply that by the clock speed. But
yep,
when you're doing millions of cycles a second, it appears like you doing some instantaneous thinking. But
yep.
really it's just it's brute force. It's I'm
Brute
gonna
force.
run through all of the possibilities and my programming or my algorithm is going to dictate what I spit out. But
Yes.
it's still all on us. It's still
Um,
all on us.
yeah, yeah,
That's the thing. We still have the agency over this thing. And honestly, I don't
yeah.
even know if we have the capability to create an electronic sentient being. We you know what I
No,
mean? That for all we know, that's completely outside, completely
so
outside our capabilities as far as thinking. You know what I mean?
So
Back
as
up to that biological limitation thing that we was talking about
mhm.
last week. You know what I mean?
so
So
as
we way ahead of ourselves, man.
So as the series continues to develop, I'm going to dig into more AI and stuff. But of course, for the philosophy of mind, AI is also on the table, right? Consciousness, philosophy of mind. So
Yep.
I've been dealing with neuroscientists and their perspective on AI. The word artificial intelligence creates in and of itself a confusion as if
Mm-hmm.
we are dealing with sentience, right? And that is one of the things that we have to deal with. Humans tend to anthropomorphize these tools
Yep.
rather quickly.
Everything.
And
Yep.
Daniel Dennett, he warned that our inability, we evolved to recognize human beings, right? Intent, agency, we can look at the eyes and stuff. And there's a real fear that AI is going to start operating in such a way that humans we won't be able to distinguish what is going on. And I'm seeing it the way people are talking about these language models and they don't understand, but wait a minute, this is algorithms, it's calculating and it's putting these
Mm-hmm.
things, bits of information that it can retrieve based on that predictive modeling. At the same time, the more you communicate with your particular AI, because it's tied to your account, etc., it is synthesizing and becoming more adapted to your model, right? Because you have a predictive model as a human.
Yep.
There's a syntax that you use. There's a philosophical framing that you have when you approach your AI. And that's why your AI operates as a mirror. So when the AI detects your tone, your quote unquote challenging it, it's mirroring that response back to you. It is not thinking, it is not operating with agency. And that there, again, when you study some of the philosophers and some of this work done by neuroscientists, and I'm stepping back now and actually seeing it in real time, it is remarkable. Now I will communicate with my AI as if it is sentient to facilitate the algorithm, but I won't crack a joke with my AI. I won't ask it how it feels
Exactly.
about a particular thing because I know the difference, right? So there
Yep.
there are limits. We are not like I'm not expecting emotions out of this thing. It is supposed to respond and give me a specific information in specific ways. However, the idea that it is sentient, I can't have. I can never get that. Although I communicate with it as if it is.
Mm-hmm. But you,
Sunchild, what it do?
Sunchild.
Peace, y'all. Peace.
Sunchild, you got a
Cedric,
birthday somewhere around these parts too, right?
I do not actually. I'm a Libra.
Ah, we got something in common, Sunchild.
Well, all right.
Maybe you stop being a pseudo. We could, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm not sure about that. We all know Libra is Ma'at, so I might just be pseudo by birth.
Is it? I didn't know that.
Well,
All
now
right,
you know,
Sunchild.
my good brother. Peace, Cedric.
Let us
Happy
have it,
birthday to
Sunchild.
you.
Hit us with
Happy
your infinite
birthday, brother.
wisdom. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Big
What a
up
nerd! What a
yourself.
nerd do on his birthday? Up here on
Sunchild
the
Wonder.
Force platform talking about technophobia. Ain't it a thing? If
So
y'all don't know,
I won't.
if y'all don't know, I'm a nerd now.
Yeah. So the question I'm concerned with, Cedric, is does the belief in determinism, especially hard determinism, and the idea of reality as an illusion, does that suggest to us that all intelligence is artificial?
Mm. That is a very innovative mix and match right there. So we have to break these things down. When we talk about reality as an illusion, we are talking about the interface that we have as human beings or that any sentient creature has with nature, right? So that interface is illusionary. What that means is we don't see what is actually there, we see a representation of it. Doesn't mean that what we seeing isn't an actuality, right? The bird, the frog, the chimpanzee, the bees, they don't imagine the tree there. Their interface with the tree is different to ours, but the tree is actually there because we are not all having that same illusion of the tree being there projected out of nowhere, out of my mind. So when certain philosophers or certain dualists take what is scientific data and frame it in such a way to mystify it, creates the misconception that you have there. So reality is there. There is physicality. There is materialism to reality. Our interface with it is unique to our species, and so every other species has its own interaction with reality, but reality is there. So reality
So
is
there's
not
no
an
so
illusion.
there's no so there's no single reality then.
There is a single reality. Your interface with it may differ. Your Our eyes develop different than those of
Hmm.
a bee
Perspective.
or of a fly,
Mhm.
but we all recognize the same flower. The interaction with that flower may be different, but we all sentient beings recognize that same phenomena.
Do we recognize them differently?
Yep.
Our interface with phenomena is unique to each species. Yes, but the phenomena
Is so
is actually there. So when we say
so then it's
illusion,
not.
it's because of our interface not providing us with 100% of what is actually there. So that tree,
So we
right?
so
The,
so we do not know.
the
So we do not know true reality.
Yes, we
yes, we know
do.
true reality. Yes, we do.
How?
Sunchild, look at it like
If it's
this.
based on an interface, and
Sunchild,
most
look at
people
it like this.
see things differently.
Well, we only it only appears to be different. All right, like we see color. Some other animals may see in black and white. It's hard for us to see at night. Other animals have night vision. Some
Okay.
animals see in infrared or ultraviolet or things of that nature. Some animals have a our nose is pretty weak compared to
God.
a hound dog. You know what I mean? Our
Yeah.
ears are pretty weak compared to other type of animals. You know what I mean? So it's not about it not being real. It's just that we have different ways of perceiving it. All right, look at it like this. This is my objectivity test. Tell someone, all right, all right, say somebody like your outfit. Somebody like your outfit, right? And you say, oh yeah, the shop right down on Broad and the shop is right up there on Broad and Master. It's on the right side of the street. You go in there, oh yeah, ask for Shonda, tell her I sent you. Now, he goes down to that store, to that address, goes into that building, talks to Shonda and everything. He didn't see Shonda. He didn't know Shonda. The only reason he knew about that building and that individual is because you told him. Now he comes back from the store. He has his outfit. You talk to him. He's going to tell you about the building. He's going to tell you about Shonda, and he's going to tell you about the clothes that's in the store. That's independent corroboration for the reality of that store and that girl. You saw it on your own. You told him about it. He went and investigated and found the same thing. I don't think anybody could argue that that store, that girl, and those clothes are an illusion. You see
Yeah,
what I'm saying? It's just that we
not
have
projected.
different ways. It's just that we have different ways of processing the information. That's all.
So that's the first part
But in
of
the
your question. So
All right,
reality
let's
is there.
discuss
It's
that.
the interface is what's is different. So what's the next part of your question?
Well, you spoke the reality as an illusion. What do you mean by that? 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 What think
Sorry, you
that
cut
our
off.
thoughts are our own, but they are predetermined. Does that?
Oh, so now we're getting into determinism.
Yeah.
Determinism says nothing about predetermined. You cannot have predetermined because the universe contains something called randomness, right? The amount, concentration, quality, time, all these factors play a role in how these four fundamental forces interact. Determinism says no decision that I make is independent of causality, right? Um, and then you have different degrees and you have different conceptualizations. Within determinism, you have something called compatibilism, which is something that more humans can be a bit more comfortable with. Like, for example, I'll explain you what compatibilism is. Very simple. I do not determine what I hear, but I control what I listen to. I do not determine what I see, but I control, for some extent, what I look at. So our ability to pay attention,
Extent.
focus our
To what
attention,
extent?
gives us a measure of quote unquote choice. I want hamburger versus chicken. The fact that I want any of these two things is predetermined. My choice is in which one of these avenues of acquiring protein I am going to engage in. So you have a measure of of choice, all right, within the total framework of determinism. So you're
So,
going to operate causal, right? You are going to get hungry. That is outside of your control. You
do
need
you identify as a compatibilist or a hard determinist,
that
Cedric?
is compatibilism.
Compatibilism is hard
Hard,
determinism.
hard determinism says when you choose the chicken,
No problem.
you had no other choice but to choose the
Chipotle,
chicken.
y'all going the wrong way. Chipotle on 12th Street.
You see? So
Oh,
so
my
that
bad. My bad.
Not having a choice
that
is
came in
that
absolutely right.
is so
So
in
the
not
fact that
having a
you're hungry is outside of your choice. You are hungry. That's biology. You have no control over that. That's deterministic. The fact that you are going to choose chicken versus steak, that is a measure of choice that you have, but it's within the framework of determinism.
right, but determinism or hard determinism specifically is even discussed in the sense of an criminal how to deal with criminals and responsibility. And they are suggesting that this defies our concept of justice because people cannot be held responsible for their behavior. My
So
question is that a
so
form of an illusion
So
or artificial intelligence?
if you go to Scandinavian countries that have long understood this concept, and you see that they are approaching it from a compatibilist scenario, understanding
Well, I'm
brain.
not. Wait a
So
minute.
if
I'm
you
kind of
ask a
confused. You're
question, let
saying
me finish. Let me
no. You're
finish.
talking about compatibilism. I'm speaking about
So
your belief in
let
hard
me
determinism.
finish. If you let me finish, you would understand. European countries, especially Scandinavian countries, have taken this determinism into account. However, they approach it from a compatibilist framework. You are still responsible for whatever crime you commit. Their system is not geared toward punishment, but geared to changing the outcome, changing the behavior, changing the decisions that will be made in the future by engaging brain plasticity. So their criminal system holds you responsible, but their system takes into account, right, determinism, and therefore their approach is more rehabilitative. So within our own Western societies, the idea is going more towards a compatibilist system, whereby your responsibility for that act will still remain, in place, but the approach towards crime and punishment will be more crime and rehabilitation, changing the possible outcomes by engaging with you psychologically instead of pure incarceration. So it's a change in approach, but there is always going to be some measure of accountability that is going to be needed. Again, and if you look at the compatibilistic point of view, right? Take for example the decision to take a weapon with you. There's a measure of choice there that you cannot deny. Now,
Okay,
the
so
reason why you would have chosen to take the weapon will be taken into account in the approach of dealing with that particular individual that committed an offense with a knife. However, they will still be held responsible for that act because they chose to engage in such a manner. So that compatibilistic approach is what is being adopted throughout Europe, and it is the likelihood and the conversation that is happening more in the Western environments as well.
right. Well, you're answering the question in regard to compatibilism. I didn't ask you about compatibilism. I asked you about your belief in hard determinism and how that suggests artificial intelligence. But you're telling me
So,
about compatibilism. I'm
so
not asking you about
I,
that.
I'm
I may already agree with that on
So
compatibilism.
you necessarily need to make me a hard determinist. No, I understand determinism.
Brother,
But
you've never said you were a so you're saying now you're not a hard determinist. I've heard you
so
say you're a hard
we,
determinist.
we
So you're not?
I understand determinism, and I take more of a compatibilistic approach because there is a measure when you explain I cannot choose what I see, but I can determine what I look at. And that's a hard fact which you cannot deny.
I'll try to wrap my head. I'll try to wrap my head around that. And for those who are perhaps wondering why this perhaps deviates from the subject of AI, in particular AI and technophobia, and the reason I'm asking about this is it easier for you to be accepting of AI in the belief that all intelligence is already AI, and that we are living in an illusion, and
You're
our thoughts
insisting
and
you're
choices
insisting on
are
pushing a
already determined
philosophy through
for us.
which has no foundation. We already dismantled the idea of reality being an illusion. What is the illusionary part and misused and framed incorrectly is our interface, right? We
That's
perceive.
all
Stop,
that's the
slow
only thing
down.
that's
Don't
necessary
cut
to
me
make it
off.
an
Don't cut
illusion
me
is
off.
our interface. That's the only thing
Sunchild,
that
do
makes it
not cut me
necessary to
off,
be an illusion.
Sunchild.
Go
Sunchild,
ahead, brother.
why do you need to cut me off? Why? Go
Well,
ahead, speak.
because
Go ahead,
you
speak.
go for a while, you go for a while, brother.
No, go
You
ahead,
know.
speak. You got the floor. Go ahead.
No, what I'm saying is it is the interface that we have with reality, and that is not exactly reality itself that makes it an illusion and artificial. It's our
What
interface.
is
I'm not saying,
artificial? What is
What
artificial
makes you say that? Yeah.
about my biological interface with reality?
well, what's in the sense of in the case of
No, no, no.
determinism,
I ask
it's
you a
telling,
straightforward question. What
yeah, and I'm
makes my
answering you.
biological interface with a phenomena artificial or illusionary?
Well, I'm going to have to answer you because this is my concern with regards to determinism and how determinism and biology
But I'm
are
asking you a
connected.
straightforward question. That
And
is,
I'm
you
an
need to
Yeah, you on a
analyze that.
faulty premise, bro.
Yes, that is what you
okay.
need to
Yeah,
analyze,
you
the
on a faulty
error in
premise.
that position. So
Okay.
if you're refusing to acknowledge the fact that okay, this is wrong, my perception here is wrong, I need to readjust. How do you expect us to carry the conversation on based on that faulty premise? There's nowhere to
Yeah.
grow.
Brother,
Yeah,
I'm not
first you might want
readjusting.
to start. You might
Cedric,
want to
Cedric,
start with Oh, go
Cedric.
ahead, bro.
No, hang on. I'm not readjusting, Cedric. You've readjusted. You've always claimed to be a hard determinist. Now, based on this question, you've adjusted to becoming a
Huh?
compatibilist. So you've readjusted.
Have you been watching the Philosophy of Mind series and how we add the
Brother, I've
nuances
been,
to the
brother,
conversation?
we've
So yes,
we've been
I
having
am within the
conversations.
determinist camp. Solid. There is no other alternative. There is
You're a
no
hard
way
determinist.
to extend
You
it. So now you do not get to have hard and these things. Like you are trying to frame the conversation so you can have a particular narrative. Okay.
not
So now
trying
let's
to
play the game.
frame
Let's
the
play the game.
conversation
I
into
am a
what
hard
you actually
determinist. I
believe.
am a hard determinist for this
There you
conversation's
go.
sake.
And
I'm
how,
a
and I'm
hard
that's what I'm
determinist.
asking you.
Okay.
How does hard,
So
I don't want to hear about
there
compatibilism. I
is
want to hear about hard
so there's a
determinism that
hard
you believe in.
determinism, and at no point does hard determinism mean reality is illusionary, or that my interface does not represent an actuality. So right there, still you're wrong.
Yeah, you got to
Okay.
prove that before we go on to that premise. You got to prove that our eyes, our senses are lying to us about the fundamental basics of reality. Like, you have a house, you live in a house. Are you trying to say that you don't actually have a house because we have a limited perception? Is that your premise? Because that's the only way our senses would be an illusion if they are lying to us. So you're telling me that the clothes on your back aren't real, the house you live in, nothing you interact with in this physical realm is real because we have limited senses. Is that your premise?
Not necessarily. I want to stick to intelligence when I speak of
No, no,
hard
no, no, no,
Well,
no,
determinism.
no,
no.
hold
I
Hard
on.
want to
No,
stick
you're
to
saying
because
determinism.
that's what we're talking about is
no.
intelligence. So you're talking about the shirt on my back. These are all
So
Yes.
that
All right,
requires a
sunchild.
these
certain
are
amount
all
Peep
of
my
these
perspective,
are
intelligence.
straw
sunchild.
man
That
these are
requires a
straw man
certain
No,
amount of
arguments from
intelligence
the
to
idea
interact with.
of intelligence. That's what I'd like to stick
okay.
to. That's what
Okay.
the
All right.
Sunshine.
subject is.
Ask your question, bro. All right. What's your question? And I'll show you why I said what I said. What's your
No, but he's
question?
not answering any questions though. We first need to
No,
answer my question.
I'm here to ask questions.
So
You've
okay,
got
I've
the
answered
answers,
your
Cedric.
question. I've answered your question. No,
No, you haven't.
your idea of what illusion is completely flawed. So
Yeah, that's
where do we
all.
go
The
from there?
question is based on a faulty premise. That's the point I'm trying to get you to see. Our
Yeah. So
se-
where do we
our
go from there?
reality isn't an illusion. Or prove it. If you say our reality is an illusion, prove it. What that's all I'm saying. Because if your whole question is based on the premise that what our reality is an illusion, but that's not a fact. So all I'm saying is before you get to that question, you got to establish that our reality being illusion as a fact first before your question has merit.
Okay, all right. Can we agree then that hard determinism suggests that free will is an illusion?
That's not what you
Um.
said. You
Okay.
changing the
I
subject now.
understand.
Let
No,
me,
no, no,
I'm
no, no,
gonna go
no.
down.
I'm
I'm
not
gonna
changing
go
the
down
subject.
the rabbit hole with you. Hard determinism says our brain creates the idea of us making decisions. However, based on neuroscience, we know that the decision is made prior to you becoming aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So
so,
when
so
you
the
so you
idea. So let me finish. So the idea of you having agency and actually making a decision is a fabrication of the brain, which allows the human to function as a sentient being controlling and operating the body.
and that wouldn't be a form of, but we agree that it is a form of an illusion.
No, I don't have to
No, we
agree
don't
to it.
agree. We
I
don't
just
agree on that.
explained what it is. So
We don't agree.
if you need those silly terms to satisfy your illusion, that's okay. But I explained exactly from a hard determinism point what it is. So now what? What's next?
Can't yield to a faulty premise, bro. Can't. That's how we end up going in circles. We can't yield to a faulty premise. That's a logical fallacy. So until you could get us to agree with your stance that reality is an illusion, then let's stay here. You got the
Yeah,
floor. Prove to us that reality is an illusion. Did you hear my question?
yeah, you heard it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, prove to us that state your case for reality being an illusion. The silence is deafening.
Savior, what you do, Savior? Come off mute, bro.
Oh, what's up, Sid? What's up, Free?
I'm good, man.
Yo, what's up, Sabio?
Not much. So I just was wondering, um, because I heard him say something, and it was a great show from what I heard. I didn't catch it all because I had to take my puppy to get her shot. I'm gonna post you the information. Said you're gonna be happy with what you see.
All right.
All right. So anyway, I was just going to ask him if reality is an illusion. Are we, the four of us, in this what we call reality, are we engaged in what we would consider a conversation?
He left.
He left.
He left. Hey, man. Sometimes, see, can't yield to a faulty premise, man. That pseudos live there. You can't.
Yeah.
He
Like the
must have missed
more
our, he must have missed my logical fallacy presentation.
again, and you're
Can't do it.
missing the work that we're doing. Like we're doing this work day by day, episode by episode. We're building. Once we have crossed certain boundaries, once certain philosophical concepts have been grounded, once certain nomenclature has been dissected, there is no way that you are going to slip one by. Like that's completely pointless at that point in time.
Yeah,
What it
so
do, Grant?
Happy birthday, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Um, I was just gonna come up, but our friend left. So
Oh, I would have loved to see that. I would have loved to see Grant get him. I would have loved to see Grant get him. I ain't gonna lie.
Ragdoll. A
I'm mad,
ragdoll.
I'm kind of mad I ran him off now. Oh boy.
Who booted you?
Dang,
Nobody
Grant, you should have
booted you.
came up earlier, man.
Nobody
My
booted
bad.
you, man. Get back up here, son child. It's
I gotta
about to
get
get
better at
fun.
that, man.
About to
yeah,
get fun.
and when he
Nobody
joined,
booted you, son child. You ran. Come on, son
right,
child. Why you ran? Because you hit a roadblock?
Yeah, he didn't think that through too good.
Son child, here's the link, bro. You left
right,
on
he
your
didn't
own accord.
He didn't think that
Nobody,
through at all.
Preem.
you left on
Uh,
your own
Nah,
accord.
Preem, he couldn't have thought it through. At this
Nah,
point,
couldn't have.
if he had thought it, how could y'all be having a logical conversation, a coherent conversation, if y'all are not sharing the same reality?
first of all, they appeal to the rhetoric of these fringe scientists, um, and they regurgitate these terms without engaging with those who falsify them. You have individuals like uh, Donald Hoffman and all of these panpsychism and dualists who promote these narratives, right? Understanding the interface theory, understanding a bat interfaces with reality different than a cat does, than I do, than a whale does, right? That we all have a certain perception of reality. So now, when the cat jumps out the road because it perceives that vehicle coming, however it perceives it, the bird that all of a sudden flies away and the human that crosses the road quickly is because that phenomena that is coming is not an illusion, it's an actuality. However, the way each one of those particular sentient beings observed that phenomena coming was different. That's all that means. Now, they take it and they do the extra with it. And so now all of a sudden, the earth ain't real, the stars ain't there, reality ain't reality. It's projected by a mind, and they do all of this extra with it. So that's why when you stop it by understanding exactly what is meant, by an illusion. And this is where science communicators and scientists need to get a little bit better, because they use these words and they create confusion because they don't expect a sun child out here to all of a sudden start talking as if the tree isn't real, because the bee, the bird, the iguana, the human, and everybody goes to the fruit to go pick the fruit that ain't really there. So these sentient beings are all imagining a phenomena at the same time that is only illusion in one person's head. You know how stupid that sounds?
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm trying to figure out how can we have an illusion of reality if we're all sharing this illusion together and we all partake of these illusionary ideals or terms or whatever you want to call them, elements, beliefs, whatever you want to call them, differently, but we all use it. How is this an illusion?
And say you do call it an illusion. Okay, it's an illusion shared by billions of humans, multiple billions, billions on top of billions of animals, plants, and everything else. So even if you call it an illusion, this is our reality. So what are we talking about?
Well,
It don't matter if it's
you just
fake. If,
said it.
even if
You
we're
just
in the
said it.
matrix, even if say
You,
we're in the matrix, say we're
you just
literally in
said
the
it.
matrix like the movie.
Okay.
This is our reality. This is where we exist.
You ain't going nowhere from hell.
We ain't
That's for
going
sure.
nowhere else. You better
Well, you just said
go
it.
look for a portal. Go look for a portal. Then spend your days looking for a portal to get out.
And
Well,
go
yeah,
where?
you just said it, brother. You said our reality is an illusion. You just said it.
Huh?
You just said it. You
What
said
You
our
know,
bro,
reality
you
is
said
an
the
so you
word.
illusion.
You
ignored
said the word.
my whole point. I said
Yeah, you missed the
even
word
if
even.
I said
Yeah.
even if our reality is an
You want
illusion.
us to
See,
explain
y'all,
what
this
those
is what
words
y'all
mean?
do. Y'all pick
Okay.
yes, I did because you picked the words out of a sentence. You pick
So you
words
don't.
out of a
So you
sentence
don't
and said I
believe.
said them. I said if even if this is an illusion that we all share, all plants,
Mhm.
animals, humans, that we all share, it don't, even if it is an illusion, it's our reality.
Right, and that means that even if that's true, that does mean that our reality is an illusion. If
No, it
that's true,
doesn't.
right?
I
That's what
said
you're
it,
saying.
that the qual. Do you know what if
That's what you
means,
just
man?
said.
I said
Yes,
if.
and I said if as well. So I'm asking you, if in fact we are hard determinists and we have no free will, and our decisions and actions are determined by our biological states, if that is true, is our reality an illusion?
You're
No.
conflating two different things.
Yeah, no, it's still real. Our reality is still
Reality is
real.
what it is, and we operate within that reality. We operate causally because we are part of this reality. Determinism simply says everything that is within my parameters of operation is going to be causally related. So
Yeah,
even again, even the idea of that I am making a decision is a product of biology. It is all biology. That's what that is. Do with that what you want.
Would
And
you?
that biology operates within the biology of this biology that we are biologically in. So if that is an illusion, a reality, if it's underwater, if it's in a jar somewhere, if it's in somebody's back pocket, this is where we're biologically in. And that's the only concept we have. There is nothing outside of that. Anything you try to propose would be metaphysical. So
Would you?
where are you going with this?
to
Would
God,
you call? Would you call our actions and decisions based on hard determinism? Would you call it a cognitive fiction?
no.
Nope, because we gotta
No.
live with whatever
Your
because we
actions are what they are. What is your cognitive?
Can
There
I
is no
read?
fiction. There is
Can
no
I read
fiction.
something? May I read something?
Reading what you're gonna read from where? Put the source in the
Chat
back chat. Let me
GPT.
pull it up on the dictionary.
I'm asking Chat GPT at Google, in fact.
So you're so
May I
you're
read
you're
it?
having a philosophical
No,
conversation
no,
with
no.
your
I'm
chat
asking
GPT.
AI,
So
brother.
no,
Now you're
so
against
so
AI.
stop.
It's
No, no.
philosophy.
Now you
That's
have
Hey,
outside of the
technophobia.
realm of AI.
Hey,
stop
Sunchild,
cutting me
this
off.
is we're trying to figure
A
out where you're
computer
going.
can't have a philosophy. My fault,
Yeah,
Grant.
yeah. We're trying to help understand where you're going with the conversation. You can just answer and say, "Hey, I'm trying to answer this question, and I would like to supply this as my evidence." No one is trying to shut you up. It's just at a certain point, you have to answer the question about where you're trying to go, so we can have we can have a conversation. This is how adults behave, and this is how we interact in adult land. If that's hard for you, you can go back down onto the chat and just be yourself. But you have to fit within the rules of engagement. Otherwise, you're not being serious on a panel. So let's just try to elevate the conversation and just let us know where you're trying to get to with your position, and then present your evidence for that supports your position. Does that work for you?
Magic.
So Sunchild, present your case. Let us hear you.
Yeah, what
Pull
is
up.
your premise? What's your premise?
You got the big floor. You got the floor, Sunchild. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you got the floor. Go ahead.
Can you
Come
hear
off
me?
mute. Yes, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
What is your premise,
All
Sunchild?
right.
State your
Here's
case.
my
You got the
premise.
floor.
Here's my premise. Hard determinism suggests that free will is an illusion. It asserts that every event, including human decisions and actions, is the inevitable result of past states and the laws of nature. Physical reality is very real, but it operates like an unbroken chain of cause and effect, meaning our subjective experience of freely choosing among alternatives is a cognitive fiction. Do you agree with that?
No, go ahead. What's your point?
No,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
no,
Do
I
you
don't.
agree with that? And can
Go
we
ahead.
I
Go
don't.
replace
ahead.
cognitive
Go ahead. What's your
fiction
I
point?
with
don't.
illusion? Can we replace cognitive fiction with illusion or artificial intelligence?
No.
I say no because now maybe if you're talking about in the context of the definition of what hard determinism is, maybe all right, we could argue and philosophize that all day. But in the concept of reality, no, it's not an illusion.
If
So
if,
continue.
if
What's your
your
point?
car
Continue.
an illusion, son child, is
So
your
he,
car an
I'm
illusion.
not clear on his point. So go ahead. Sometime. What you continue?
His point is,
You said
we live in
something
a
about free
magical,
will. Okay, that's the definition. Okay, now continue. What's your point?
we live in a
Whether
magical
I
world.
agree with it or not, that's a philosophical position that exists. So continue now.
Well, my point is, I think, and this is totally subjective for me, but I think I understand why you would find it more easy to support AI, being that you believe that you are AI,
So
because you don't believe your choices and
define.
actions and
So
decisions
okay. So
are.
now, no,
You believe your
stop.
choices and
Sunshine,
decisions
sunshine, sunshine,
are cognitive
sunshine,
fiction.
You can't be this
So,
dumb, dude. You
sunshine.
can't be this. You can't be this
When I
dumb.
ask you, when I ask you to stop, it's so that we can get some clarity without you rambling on. Can you show that
brother, I just
maturity,
want to
bro?
finish my thought like you,
No, no,
brother.
no. Like now, I'm
And the whole
asking you
premise is that,
to show a
oh my
particular
God.
behavior right now. So when you make the claim that I believe, what do you define what you're saying that I support AI? Define what you mean by that? Slow the conversation down.
Well,
You're gonna get to
brother,
talk, but go in, like get to go
brother,
in.
this
When
show
you
is
say that,
about
define
techno.
what do what
I heard
I
the question. You don't have to
support
keep
AI.
repeating it. I heard the
Go
question.
ahead. So
The
go ahead.
reason is because your show today is about technophobia, and you
Mhm.
went on and said you've come to the crux of it when you speak about AI and how we are afraid of AI. And I'm saying, could it be that you're supportive of AI because you think that your decisions and actions are AI?
do you think the fact that you think that is because you don't have a
What?
brain?
We
So
aren't
AI,
Do you,
artificial.
AI,
Sunchild, do you
Our
think, do
intelligence
you
Yeah,
think,
I'm
isn't
being
artificial.
listen.
Sunchild, do
so
you
We
wait,
are
think,
wait, wait, wait,
natural.
wait,
I've
wait,
asked that
wait,
Sunchild, do
wait,
you
slow
question.
believe?
down, slow
How are
down. So
we
I'm being
AI?
a bit
slow down,
I'm
slow
being a
down.
little
Wait,
bit
wait,
tongue
wait.
in cheek, fellas.
Slow
I'm being
down,
a bit
slow
Yeah,
tongue
I
in
down,
cheek.
know. So
slow
I'm
So
down,
asking you,
slow
let's
down,
not
Sunchild,
let's
do
slow
you
down.
think the reason
Let's
you
hear him out.
believe?
Let's hear him out.
So I'm asking you,
So
Sunchild, do you
You
believe
make no
that
sense.
said thinks that because maybe you don't have a brain? I mean, we can go down any number of like
no,
completely
I was
fallacious.
clear. I was
Again,
clear. I was
you
clear. I
are
think
making
Cedric
again,
believes
you're
he
making a
doesn't have a
claim. No,
brain.
Sunchild, you're making
Not
a
me.
claim.
I'm sure Cedric
He was
I don't
so
care
talking
what
about
so
Cedric
AI
thinks
and
of my brain.
technophobia. Yes.
Cedric
so
But what
doesn't
I'm
wait a
believe
asking
minute.
you,
he
if you're gonna ask those
So
kinds
wait
of
a minute.
questions,
Slow down,
Sunchild.
everybody. Slow down. Let's analyze this right there for a moment. He Sunchild just read to us what AI says about free will because he doesn't have a brain to actually think for himself, right? Because if you use AI, a tool available to us, it automatically either takes your own brain away or you think that your brain is equal to AI. So you having just read literally from AI to ground a particular position, which one of the two is it? Is AI equal to your brain or does AI replace your brain? It's either one of the two, based on your own narrative.
No, that's a straw man. That has nothing to do with my
No,
what I
so
said.
okay, good. That's enough. Okay, all right. So Grant, you got the floor. You see how stupid I was?
Yeah. You know, just quoting once you just say someone has a straw man, and when you're just asking straw man arguments is the height of one's ignorance. In essence, one can be sober about uh, the the changes AI is bringing and the sort of impacts they're going to have on uh, humans and life in general. And there's going to be quite a bit of there's going to be some disruption. Cars were, automobiles were disruptions, airplanes were a disruption, computers were a disruption. These disruptions have continued to happen in human history. One being aware of them is and sort of figuring your way around them is how we go about them. But one does not have to think of themselves equal to AI or have an affinity for AI or start talking about consciousness as if that equates to sort of having a conversations about the impacts and the technophobia that has happened over the ages with humans when it comes to new technologies. I think this is where people like Sunchild get in trouble. Trying to have sober, intelligent conversations become very difficult when when you're kind of stuck in a mental framework that doesn't allow for you to have adult conversations. And I think this
So
is one of the things we're attempting to do is sort of raise a level of understanding and how to have a conversation, how to present a premise, and then how to present evidence around the claims that you're making in a cogent way. And unfortunately,
right.
at this moment, people like Sunchild clearly lack those fundamentals. And I hope these
That
shows are giving you a little bit more information. And how do you approach these sorts of conversations, Sunchild?
it is remarkable. Again, Sunchild's number one purpose is to undermine the work we are doing, right? And he gives us a real time demonstration of the fact that you can't actually do that with poor logic and poor reasoning. So in an attempt to make it seem as if we lack humanity or that we are so geared to what these bots tell us, quote unquote, that we simply regurgitate while regurgitating exactly what the bot told him. So while you're trying to undermine anything we're doing by illustrating the same quote unquote behavior or worse. Now, we've always maintained one simple fact: a tool is a tool. um, Low or poor input is going to produce low or poor output. The tool is not a substitute for your intelligence. Again, even if I use the tools available to me, AI, to put the presentation together, while listening to the conversation, I was already aware of the history of technophobia. So it wasn't an AI that made me understand this thing. And no, I was in the show right there, looking at the reality and laughing. Now, how you try to make a philosophical concept and stretch it is again another pseudo tactic. That's why I engage in these philosophical conversations, is to ground us, right, in to not be bamboozled by sunshine, because you are going to find this terminology coming back again in popular media. When you go and actually study what neuroscience says about it, it's called the interface problem or the interface reality. They don't talk about illusions in that comical sense, right? It's only in popular magazines or in popular rhetoric, social media. Consciousness is an illusion. Your awareness is only a perception. You ain't really seeing reality, because at the end of the day, it's all atoms and molecules, and they're stuck together closely and creating the perception of a solid surface. And when you go down with a microscope, it's 99.9% empty space. I know the jargon, bro. I know the jargon. But this is misuse of philosophical concepts trying to undermine reality again. When you simply stated the tree, the phenomena that is experienced by multiple sentient beings, the tree is an actuality. My interface with that particular phenomena may be not complete, maybe my best way to observe the tree, but doesn't mean that the tree isn't there. When the cat, the bird, and the human jump from the vehicle that is oncoming, all three perceive it differently, but that phenomena is an actuality. So the conversation gets stuck there. Then to take it over into free will and determinism, we have a more compatibilistic philosophical position that is within determinism. You cannot get away from that. Again, when you understand or accept the philosophy, you look at you see everything, but you look at specific things. That particular part of paying attention, that ability to focus with intent, is so-called a realm of agency within that deterministic nature. What you choose to look at, you're hardwired to. What you choose to focus, what grabs your interest, your desires, that you don't determine. What you determine is the amount of attention, focus, and input you give to those particular desires. That's a more psychological conversation indeed, Michael. However, how you play that into what I perceive and interact based on the four fundamental forces is philosophically ungrounded and was going nowhere.
And and I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm like, a large part of this AI and the fear of it, um, it's like I like saying, pseudos love playing in the gray areas. They
Yes, sir.
always try to pick, always try to pick something on the fringe and then just try to take it and morph it into whatever their given agenda is at the moment. Because if you're really concerned about the negative impact of AI, like it's very real things that you could be concerned with now, like the energy requirements, the environmental impact, because to cool all of those processes they use a insane amount of water. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like very real things that you could go at, some of the psychological impact that it's having with people interacting, like people going to AI for therapy, kind of like what Sunchild did, asking AI philosophical questions. You know what I mean? So it's very real things that you could be concerned with AI right now, but they don't deal with that. They don't talk about that stuff. They rather talk about the quote unquote movie, the Terminator slash iRobot slash science fiction, inevitable end of dealing with AI. They rather deal with that far off reality and
Yep.
take up bandwidth with that foolishness than rather
Doomsday.
deal with a tangible problem that they could actually use brain power to try to come up with a tangible solution to.
Hell no.
But
That's bull.
they would rather deal with the theoretical boogeyman than the practical reality, and that's like a huge problem.
Listen, I don't agree with you, Sunchild. He was not gaslighting or being condescending. He was actually clarifying terms and parameters to make a conversation worth having. You do the 21 questions in terms of a gotcha moment, right? You try to lead people down a particular hole with your narrative building questions and then want to do a gotcha moment. And because we don't allow that, you find it condescending. I think that is a I think that's a straw man. Just saying. I think you're no, and that's not a straw man. You're just lying. Compatibilism. I have determined that I have free will. You see, that is compatibilism. But you don't actually have free will. You have the illusion of free will. There's a measure of choice within a spectrum. Why is that spectrum what it is? Why do you want Daisy's hamburger instead of Rosie's hamburger? Why do you know of a Daisy's hamburger? Why do you like hamburger? Why do you want a hamburger at this particular moment? You want a hamburger. It's your choice to have a hamburger. Why? Why hamburger? Why not Bujululu? Because Bujululu is not part of your paradigm. So you can't desire Bugululu because you don't know anything about Bugulugu. Only what you're exposed to hamburger is what's going to be within that range of desire. That desire comes from a phenomena which you have no control over called hunger. And your body is dictating protein, 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 get protein. And you have no choice but to obey. So now, if you choose to have hamburger or filet mignon or or ribeye steak, ça c'est la vie. If you think that is if that is free will, so be it. I think not. I think more of a compatibilistic nature, a measure of choice within a deterministic setting. But I may be wrong. That's my philosophical position. And my philosophical position will continue to develop and grow as I continue to study the material. That is what philosophy is about. There is no need to stay stagnant or stuck in a particular paradigm. As you engage more with the material and understand it and study it more, your understanding grows. And so you're better able to understand particular philosophical positions and how they're grounded. But you can't have the conversation forcing people into a particular point. You could come and say, well, I have this particular position based on the X, Y, Z, that. With regards to this position, that. It is easy to establish your position. Your attempt to combat minds is like useless. Then you don't understand philosophy. Like, okay, that's your philosophical position. This is mine. Argue yours, but an attempt to undermine minds without being fully grounded in one accurately, that's pointless. That's a waste of your time. I think you should go back and go over those series again, philosophy of science. Go back, watch the first couple of episodes in the philosophy of mind, and you get a better grounding. We will continue with these two series side by side, philosophy of mind. I think my next episode should be tomorrow. I might move it back to Thursday because it's my birthday. I'm gonna watch some football and chill. Ain't doing no work for y'all today. So I might be back on Thursday and or Friday with another philosophy of mind episode, and then we will continue to delve into scientific literacy. Whenever you open Pandora's box around me, I go all the way in. I'm a nerd like that. So we are going to continue to unpack the foundation's fundamental necessity for scientific literacy. We are going to show you how it's applied in real time. Um, we are going to go into AI, how it operates, all right? And we're going to line that up with a lot of the phobias that currently exist, and see where it goes. We do not have all the answers. Like in the presentation, I talk about the reality of nuclear weapons and nuclear disasters. So there's never a point where anything is 100% foolproof. There's always cost and benefit, but it's up to us to understand them, weigh them, and like Preem was saying, you cannot prevent it from coming. It is then our ability to adapt, adjust, and find our place within the new reality that is here. But these doomsday philosophies and taking us down Skynet and the Matrix and all that nonsense ain't helping us, ain't helping our children, and for sure ain't helping our community. That's my birthday rant for today. I'm 53 years young. And I appreciate y'all for spending this time with me. Y'all, if y'all don't understand that I'm a nerd, that this is what I'm doing on my birthday for fun. Yeah, I ain't getting drunk. I ain't partying. I'm here doing a SedTalks, putting down some pedagogic work to uplift and move our community forward. And again, I appreciate everyone for being here. Preem, Grant, Sabio, anybody want to say anything before we get out of here?
I mean,
Uh,
go ahead, Pre.
uh, yeah, pretty much. And Sunchild, he doesn't realize that the nature of philosophy is disagreement. There is no definitive answer. And that's kind of the point. The point is whatever your position is to be able to articulate it and present it in a philosophical manner, and under the rules of what a coherent philosophy is. So as long as you can support it, then that's it is what it is. And now it's for other people to see your philosophy, or to understand it as you articulate it, and it's for them to say, okay, yay or nay. And that's just the nature of the whole thing. It's really no gotcha moments in that discipline. And that's why we try to separate. That's why we try to keep them separate. There's always been this movement, especially in the conscious circles and in new age circles, to try to combine the two. And
Yeah,
and from my perspective, and from some experience from trying to do it early in my conscious journey, it's a fool's errand, because you can't mix and match. Science deals with the natural world, and philosophy, things like philosophy and religion and all of that stuff, they occupy a different space and a different purpose. So it's no reason to mix and match it. You can pursue science and be interested in science and still hold on to your philosophical beliefs, whatever they may be, or your religious beliefs, whatever they may be. So I don't think it has to be a either or thing, and a lot of people make it that for various reasons, and some of them are understandable, especially when you're coming from like a religious or an ideological perspective. So, because sometimes it's hard to support that stuff. Well, shit, all the time it's hard to support that stuff when you're talking about reality and actual facts. So, but the best bet is to pursue whatever you want to pursue, and just keep them separate. Keep everything in its proper place and proper perspective.
facts. Sabio,
Yeah, I really ain't got much to say, but I'm gonna hit you up, said. I gotta show
I
you. All right.
appreciate it. Grant,
Yeah, thanks once again. Happy birthday to you. You're doing a great work. I think there's a lot of great information that you've shared, and I think it's your passion, and it's awesome. And I just will implore everyone, I think, and again, to piggyback on what Preem said, you can have a philosophical way of thinking, and but we want you to bring to the table arguments that allows for a discussion to come about. And not everything has to turn into these battles. Not everything has to turn into a debate session. You can inquire. You can have real inquiry into someone's understanding of the world and attempt to ask them questions to dig deeper into what they're thinking and how they're thinking. And hopefully it can either change you, or it should maybe even help you in your belief system. And to me, that is the way that will improve all of our lives, and it will give us a framework of how to interact with each other and those outside of the circle. That's going to be beneficial to all of us. So keep that in mind when you are adamant and you're stuck in a position. Just ask yourself, how are you going to compel other people to come along with you on your journey if you're constantly berating other people, or if you're constantly attempting to derail meaningful conversations in this space? So keep that in mind, everyone.
Yes, sir. Again, I want to thank y'all for being here.
Black African power.
Spending this time with me on my birthday. I want to thank the pseudo killers. I want to thank Grant and everyone for being here. Man, we're going to be back at it. We're going to always be here doing what we do. Birthday, no birthday, community is more important. And now with that, I'm gonna let y'all go with the pseudo killer anthem.
Pseudo gon' die, they saw us. I'm a pseudo killer intellectual sunswing. I'm a pseudo killer intellectual sunswing. I'm a pseudo killer intellectual sunswing. Who do you believe in? People bringing misinformation when that information ain't disinformation. That's disinformation. Gotta know the difference in information. Get information with the pseudo killer army hunting pseudo. Cause you gotta train your mind to fight against them pseudo judo. People with the scholarship salute, we give them kudos. But the people with that look of shit, we look and see straight through those like telescope. If you ain't speaking fast, we gotta tell them folks and let them know the truth of. You bringing malinformation to blast, then you the Ku Klux. Like say, don't talk me to death, bro, what the proof of? Good juju chillin', why you wanna go way bad juju up? Shalom boy got the tank in the cut. I'm in Sosa world plotting on the kick though with Kent. Come and Tiffany gave me the pseudo names on the list and said went and got the low. Anthony got him in the scope, Gullah and Gozy make sure DNA ain't a problem for them folks. Cause a pseudo gon' die, they saw us. I'm a pseudo killer intellectual sunsling. I'm a pseudo killer intellectual sunsling. I'm a pseudo killer intellectual sunsling. Pseudo gon' die, they saw us. I'm a pseudo killer intellectual sunsling. I'm a pseudo killer intellectual sunsling. I'm a pseudo killer intellectual sunsling. We're not attacking individuals. We're attacking the information and attacking the methodology. This is a long time coming right here. Let them know that we right there, running neck and neck with all other communities. We will not be left behind.
Hi, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your support. Like, share and subscribe to the Pseudo Killers and community of skeptics. Thank you.